Oh, this is a comparison video between the Pilot Custom 823 and the Pilot Custom 742. I'm comparing mainly the number 15 FA nib versus number 10 FA nib. In terms of the bodies, the Pilot Custom, they both have same clip basically. The band difference is that there's lacquers inside the Custom 823, the stars, whereas the 742 doesn't, and it says the same things basically in the respective models. And the Pilot Custom 823 is a vacuum filler, whereas 742 is a cartridge converter with the Con 70. So the main reason I wanted to make this video was to compare the two nibs. The Pilot Custom 823 is a modern flex nib in the fact that it's a hard flex, it's a 14 karat gold nib, whereas the number 10 FA nib is a gold nib as well, and it's a soft flex. So depending on you, if you want a hard flex or a soft flex, then you might want to go either direction. The reason why you might want this hard flex is if you want to use it as a daily pen for just daily writing as well, on top of expressive writing. So if you like extra fine or like fine Japanese nib that you want to write for daily writing, then the 15 size FA nib is great for you because you can use it as a dual purpose nib. Whereas this number 10 FA nib is best for people that want to use it exclusively for expressive writing, because when you write with it for normal writing, if you don't have very soft touch, then you might accidentally spread the tines trying to write fast. But that is not the case with the Pilot Custom 823 FA nib, since it is a firm FA nib that can take some pressure, that can take some hard pressure when writing. So that is a good thing for people with different needs for this pen. So in my opinion, I used both of these pens. I used the Custom 823 FA nib more because I use that for dual purposes. But I also use my number 10 FA nib if I want to have some characteristics of expressive writing. So both of these pens are usually inked up for me. And obviously Custom 823 is for people that want more ink capacity, which is why it's great for double purpose as well, since you have enough ink to get you through the entire week. And yeah, in terms of how the mechanisms are, the Pilot Custom 823 is a vacuum filler, as I mentioned, so it's great, whereas the 742 is a Con 70 pump style cartridge converter, which holds like 0.9 millimeters. So they both hold good enough ink. And in terms of writing, I'm going to start with the Pilot Custom 823. I'm going to do two styles of writing. First, I'm going to show how they write normally. Then I'm going to show each one how they write when you try to flex with it. So Pilot Custom 823 Demonstrator is very soft, and as you can imagine, it's also smooth for an extra fine Western tipping or like a fine Japanese tipping. So it's great for that. And the ink I'm using in this case is Caran d'Ache Organic Brown, which is one of my favorite inks. This nib is one of my favorites for just daily use. I like fine tippings, and usually I like Western fine, but I can get away with this Japanese fine because it's not a dry fine. It is a little bit on the medium wetness, so it's great. If you put a little bit more pressure, then you can get a Western fine. So it's great in that sense, and I enjoy it for that fact. And in terms of just daily use and writing like that, I love it because I like the Demonstrator finish with this pen. You can see the ink level, the slushing of the ink is really enjoyable. In terms of reverse writing, it's actually not that bad despite the very small tipping. It is scratchy for sure, but it's not terrible. And in terms of line variation, obviously you can get a lot of line variation since this is an FA nib. And I get no railroading, nothing like that if I slowly write with it. But if you push it to a limit where you're writing so fast, then the feed cannot keep up, because both this and the number 10 FA nib have plastic feeds, so they do not have ebonite feeds. But you can send them to like a flexible nib factory or something like that to get your ebonite feed. But I see no purpose of that because for my use, I never have skipping or railroading. And as I mentioned, in terms of wetness, this is on a medium wetness, so this is great because unlike the 149 Calligraphy, which is a little bit dry, this is great in terms of ink flow, in my opinion. Now let's get into Pilot Custom 823, Pilot Custom 742. This is in the Burgundy dark red body, which is cartridge converter. And this nib is also a little bit smooth, but it's not as smooth as the Custom 823 in my opinion. But this is softer than Custom 823 FA nib because it's a little bit on the softer side to begin with. So you have to be careful when you're writing with this for normal writing that you don't push it too much because this is a soft flex. So if you write fast, like you would write with like a platinum or sailor nib, you might accidentally damage the tines of your nib and spread it out. Then you have to pay to fix it. But if you a person that has light hand pressure, that likes soft writing normally as well, then this pen can be a great dual purpose nib as well. Because I have a soft touch to my writing as well, so I never had a problem with damaging this nib. So it depends on people's characteristics of their writing style. And in terms of reverse writing for this, it's actually not terrible either. It's definitely scratched because keep in mind this is like an extra fine dipping. And in terms of line variation, this is the best modern flex nib on the market in my opinion. And I have the Momo 49 Calligraphy nib as well, if you've seen that video. So I've tested several flex nibs. And in terms of how this railroads a little bit, as you can see, this only happens if you don't align it to the page correctly. As you saw, I tilted a little bit, then that's when the railroad happened. If you have it perpendicular to the page, then it will not railroad. Because I've seen some reviews saying like, oh, it's railroads and stuff like that, but make sure you're perpendicular to the page. If that's so, then it will not railroad. In terms of wetness, it's great as well, so it's not dry, and I like it for that fact. Now, in terms of just how they are in terms of line variation themselves, as you can see, there's vast difference in line variation with the Pilot Custom FA nib when you use it for like just regular writing with soft pressure, just to get that extra fine dipping and line variation, or if you put a little more pressure to it. But once you start using this nib, you will know when the limitation is. You will feel it. So do not think just because it's a hard flex, how do I know if I push it too much and break the nib or something like that? You will know because the nib will tell you by the pressure that you're feeling, the resistance that you will get, you will know when you're pushing it to its limit. So do not worry about that. This is a great nib and I've had it for a while now and it works just as fine as it did when I got it out of the box brand new. So this is great for people that enjoy for dual purposes and like hard flex nibs. And I like both nibs. Obviously, like I have both of them, so I enjoy both of them. So it depends on your preferences. I enjoyed the number 10 FA nib for flexing purposes more because I like the softer feeling, and which is more similar to vintage flex. But vintage flex in modern era is not possible because of the feed and stuff like that. So, but if you want a modern flex nib, then this is the best modern flex nib you can get if you like soft flex. If you like hard flex, then I would go with either the Pilot Custom 823 FA nib or Momo 49 Calligraphy nib, if you have the money for it. But these are the best options in the market as of right now, in my opinion. And as you saw, you can get some railroading if you do not let the feed catch up with the nib, because that is obviously an issue with any flex nib. If you do not put the ink down, if you do not give it time for the feed to keep, unlike vintage flex, there is some limitations to modern flex nibs, and that is to be expected. Nothing will be perfect, and people expected the Momo 49 Calligraphy nib to be the perfect modern flex nib, but that is not the case either. So it depends on your preferences. If you really like a soft flex, then I would go with this. And you can get this for around $150 in a different body on eBay or whatnot directly from Japan. So it's relatively affordable for what it is. In the end, it all depends on your preferences on what you want from the nib to do. Do you want a dual purpose nib where you have a little bit harder pressure when writing normally? Then I would go with the number 15 FA nib. But if you have a soft pressure, if you like writing softly, if you don't have hard pressure on your writing style, then I would go with the number 10 FA nib. But if you purposely want just an exclusively flex nib just for flexing purposes, then the number 10 FA nib is perfect. Because as you saw, like there was some railroading and stuff like that, and that was without any tuning. So I could actually make this pen, the nib, even better if I sent to a nib meister and tune it more. So This pen is really great and has a lot of potential, and if you give it time when you're writing with it, then you will see no skipping, no railroading, and that applies to the Pilot Custom 823 number 15 FA nib as well. So both of these nibs are great for everyday use, depending on if you like harder pressure writing or softer pressure writing. And I also compared the Pilot Custom 823 FA nib 15 size to the Momo 49 calligraphy nib, in that sense that they're both harder flex. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check out that video. But thank you for watching. Have a great day.